Hey, paisanos! Happy St. Paddy's Day! It's been... Hey, Editing Rick. When's the last time we played a good Battle Network game? No, Editing Rick, not Editing John. What? That's like 2 fucking years! What am I doing with my life? Nope, it's okay. It's okay, because we're here today to talk about the next good Battle Network game, MegaMan Battle Network. Wait! Oh, here he is. What? I'm doing the thing. What?
We gotta do the thing again.
What thing?
Just quick, do something funny.
Wait, is that...
Yep, he's here.
Hello, boys. How's Mega Man's strategy going?
It's going.
Looking a little cramped there, aren't you?
Well, I see you're growing accustomed to your environs.
Real nice.
You know, when I started tormenting you, I had no idea we'd be playing this game of cat and mouse all the way until 2018. Why, it seems like just yesterday, I was being born into reality in a pocket in time, in an alternate dimension created from the phantasm of minutes.
Hey, you guys filming without me?
Oh no, we were actually about to do like a Battle Network 5 intro, but guess who is here?
It's not Dustin.
Wait a second. Is this a seriously video?
Yeah, why?
Oh no, every time we do Zoom 2 screens, something bad happens. Hold on a sec, I'll be right up.
Alright.
Hey, I was monologuing over here.
Look, are you gonna just stand there and talk, or are we gonna do this stupid show?
I'm so glad you asked. As a matter of fact, I'm going to...
Well, that's a convenient way to sideline our biggest threat for the entire season.
Did you install a trapdoor to the abyss in front of my bedroom?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, we're already here, right? We did the intro. We got the show loaded up already. We may as well just do it, right?
Fuck it. What's another anime weekend after being mired in 2 years of ceaseless garbage?
Yeah. That's fine. That's good. Yeah.
Actually, do you want to fill me in on the backstory here? I feel like a refresher would probably be useful.
Oh, sure. Let's see. In Axess, Lan is recruited to the Net Savers to help take on the Darkloids, a band of net navies created from bug frag data scattered across the cyberworld, led by the vampiric Shade Man, who strive to spread their influence throughout the world by way of dark chips provided to them by the mysterious Dr. Regal. The bad guys are able to create dimensional areas, zones where the real world and the cyberworld can intersect, but the good guys are able to counter with the experimental new Cross Fusion, a way to merge Operator and Net Navi to fight together in dimensional areas, starting with a Net Saver named Misaki and his Net Navi Prism Man. In the end, it's revealed that Dr. Regal and Ms. Yuri, the long-thought dead sister of Lan's teacher Ms. Mari, have been the probes of Duo since they were saved following a devastating plane crash 15 years ago. This results in both having unnatural regeneration and stamina, greatly increased intelligence, and almost effortless cross-fusion with their own navis, Laserman and Needleman. Ms. Yuri and Misaki are knocked off a bridge after a near-fatal encounter with a dark chip-infected Proto-Man, and Dr. Regal creates a global dimensional area so he can cross-fuse with Laserman and control the planet. But the quick thinking of Lan, Chad, and Rika and his Net Navi Searchman gives Scilab the edge, destroying Laserman and shuffling Dr. Regal off the mortal coil. And so, it all ends with Ms. Yuri reflecting on the season's events, then driving away as a strange comet appears overhead.
Bored.
Jesus, that was a lot.
Well, I mean, it was 51 episodes last season. I'd say boiling down 20 hours of TV to about a minute and change isn't too bad.
How long is this season?
51 episodes. Rockman EXE stream continues the story of Lan and his friends where Axess left off. Not only do we see the cross-fusion and dimensional area sagas continue, but we get to see the force behind a lot of the previous season's power come into play, as well as the rise of a new terrorist organization in the wake of World 3 and Gospel. It also combines its own original story with some elements of Battle Network 3, 4, and 5.
So this season has parts of the good game, the bad game, and also a game we haven't even played yet?
Yep.
What? So you're telling me Real Operator wasn't good enough to make it into this season? Well, rip Starman.
Why don't we just get started?
This isn't garbage.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty decent song. We open on the discarded remains of Battle Network 4.5 being pushed around by some kind of robo-hobo.
Wait, hang on. Doesn't this guy look a little familiar? It's weird. He looks almost like...
Bombs away!
Dr. Wily.
Was there somebody in that car?
No time to dwell on that. We need to look wistfully up at the meteor shower from the end of the last season, which is apparently composed of alien debris fired off a huge comet.
Dr. Hikari and the higher-ups at Scilab discuss the comet and how it may signal the return of Duo. Given the recent events with Dr. Regal and Miss Yuri, they decide this requires their full attention.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was too busy watching MegaMan Soccer.
The opening shots for each season are starting to feel more and more forced as we keep watching this show. It's okay for everyone not to be having some kind of competition in episode 1, you know.
Also, I mean, is it just me, or does using battle chips feel like cheating here?
Doesn't matter, because as soon as the match is over, Yai and Dex are leaving the show. Yeah, they head off to Kingland in Hawaii 5 minutes into the first episode. I guess they don't fit into this post-access plot anymore.
There is a cute little moment, though, when Yai mumbles about Chad not being very into goodbyes, and her enormous mutant forehead catches a ray of light well enough to temporarily blind him miles away. He realizes what it is and opts not to close the blinds. It's weirdly adorable.
But back at Scilab, it's discovered that the comet approaching the planet has been sending out a strange signal that's creating radio wave interference.
Even MegaMan notices the presence of viruses nearby, and it's not long before...
Rick?
Yes, John?
Are Mets supposed to be that big?
No, John.
Okay, but honestly, I think this is going to be my new favorite reaction shot for a while. Ah, it's a thing of beauty.
Okay, but like, there's no dimensional area. This guy shouldn't even be here at all, let alone being hundreds of feet tall.
Well, if that's the case, then the heroes need to put it into one. So Lan and Chad work to distract it and whack it around with some I-beams until a bunch of military vehicles with dimensional area cannons can show up.
Lan and Chode cross-fuse with Megaman and Protoman and do a pretty solid job of... Hey, does anyone else think this music sounds familiar? Must have been imagining it. Also, hi Kid Grave! What is he doing here?
That's a good question. Oh good, and now Mega Man didn't return to his pet.
Oh, cool, so Base is stalking us now.
Well, actually, it looks like he's not the real bad guy here. He tells Mega Man that whatever's happening and whatever's about to happen threatens the entire cyber world. And since Base can't get off unless he's the strongest being on the net, he demands Mega Man hand over his ultimate program so he can combine them and become strong enough to fight whatever's coming. Oh, I guess that does make him the bad guy then. Whoops.
And to make matters worse, Dr. Wily approaches Lan and Chode in the real world to warn them about the arrival of Duo. In a surprise twist, he reveals that, while, yes, Dr. Regal was using the global dimensional area to try to take over the world, it was also meant to be a shield to prevent Duo from being able to approach the planet, since his arrival usually does not mean good things.
So Dr. Wily decides his planet needs him and leaves behind a soda can to give to Lan's dad. Lan and Chode race back to Scilab, where Proto Man desperately tries to save Mega Man from being absorbed into Base, and the first episode comes to an end. That's a pretty heavy start, but not bad. This is cool and all, but like, isn't Mega Man about to be absorbed or something?
Oh, shit, yeah. So, like, right away, Base starts taking Mega Man's ultimate program, but is interrupted by Proto Man finally catching up to them.
Which is cool and all, but then Base is all like, can't get enough of that golden crisp, and decides he wants Proto Man's ultimate program too.
But some quick thinking on Proto Man's part gives him the window he needs to pick up Mega Man and escape, for barely as long as it took to say that.
Base very casually shatters Proto Man's sword and shrugs off Mega Man's Buster attack, but thankfully Lan and Chad are able to connect their PETs in time for them to operate their navis until Base finally retreats.
Back at Scilab, the team has only one way to know for sure what's in Wily's soda can. Huh. Well, with that out of the way, Dr. Hikari fills Lan and Chode in on the true nature of Duo, and they decide the best course of action is to send Mega Man and Proto Man to the asteroid to stop him. Seems a little early for a final boss battle though, don't you think?
Sounds about right. So Base jacks himself in instead in order to take on Duo alone until he suddenly gets hit by something.
It's a lady, Navi.
Oh, farts.
Shit. This is gonna be a thing, isn't it?
Base, seeing a challenge to his masculinity, attacks her with everything he's got, but in the end, the winner is
Oh, god damn it, John.
who kicks the living shit out of him so hard he goes straight to hell.
And while they're busy with all that, giant viruses everywhere! Lots of collateral damage! Adorable lobster friend!
Meanwhile, this rampant destruction is witnessed by Raika, some lanky blonde guy, a native aboriginal kid, a Chinese chick, an old guy, and Magnet Pauline? Oh, and Princess Pride, too. It's okay, Princess, go to sleep.
Once the threat has reached the point of an actual fucking dragon attack, even Dr. Wily starts to pitch in and help. But when Lan and Chode use cross-fusion to fight off the giant viruses, the wrath of Odin comes down and knocks out all of them and teleports the kids into space.
From up here, they meet briefly with Duo, who declares that the human network is deteriorating. The rise in terrorism and crime in general means the planet is no longer worthy of survival, and must be eliminated, just as Duo did to the very planet he once called home.
But Lan and Chad make a last-ditch plea, cross-fusion. Their argument is that this melding of human and cyber worlds means there's still a chance for humanity. Duo is unfamiliar with cross-fusion, but decides to give humanity a test. If they pass the test, he will leave Earth intact, but if they fail, well...
Anybody else getting a distinct Q vibe here?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
The viruses are all eliminated and the comet disappears from the sky. And back at Scilab, a closer look at the label on Wily's can reveals a microscopic design for a dimensional area generator, which would allow the user to create a dimensional area anywhere they desire on Earth. Wily, of course, does this because he loves food. Yeah, sure.
And in one last nightmarish twist, due to Lan receiving the crest of Duo, he can still see the comet looming overhead at all times. Chad, however, cannot, and the season finally begins.
Ugh, that was a pretty heavy season opener.
Yeah, Stream has like way higher stakes than previous seasons, even Axess. I mean, the very fate of the world hangs in the balance.
That's true, but I mean, Lan and Chode have all of the resources of Scilab at their disposal. If they're not distracted, they should be able to handle things, right?
I mean, they should, and that's where this season's first arc comes from. 6 of the next 8 episodes, while they do form a kind of arc anyway, are honestly more like 6 nearly identical episodes that just change up the setting, the antagonist, and the Navi involved.
The formula for these episodes basically boils down to somebody's struggling and wants something really badly. Slur offers them a chance to get what they want and gives them what's referred to as an asteroid navi, sometimes replacing the operator's existing net navi if they have one.
The asteroid navis take on the forms and characteristics of net navis that already existed on Earth but are no longer around. The operators are convinced to use the dimensional chip to bring their navis into the real world, and 2 of the operators try to stop their navis when they start tearing up the place. All 6 are eventually defeated by Lan and company, usually with the help of some kind of cross-fusion.
Those 2 asteroid navis are ultimately deleted, but for the 4 that art, they end up with a job in Neoworld 3. It wasn't too noticeable at first, but after the 3rd or 4th episode, it becomes pretty apparent what the pattern is.
In the first one, Chowd gives Lan his new pet version 3, which totally doesn't look at all like a gun, and it's also compatible with the battle chip gate.
So Chode wants Lan to be in his commercial for an animal park, but Lan is an atrocious actor.
光ネットも大感動。みんなアニマルファームに来てネット。
違う。もっと肩の力を抜いて自然に。何度言えばわかるんだ。頼むよネット君。
あ、はい。
じゃあもう一度。テイク29。
はい。テイク29。いきます。
みんなアニマルファームに来てネット。
違う。テイク30。
アニマルファームに来てネット。
元気がない。テイク31。
アニマルファームネット。
セーフカンだ。テイク32。
ネット君緊張してガチガチ。
大根芝居にも程があるぞ。
テイク33。
アニマルファームに来てネット。
どこの言葉だ。テイク34。
アニマルファームに来てネット。
Boy, what an embarrassing job.
Oh, you want to take that one back? We can do better than that.
Boy, what an embarrassing job.
No, like better, maybe?
Boy, what an embarrassing job.
All right, hang on. We gotta try something here.
Boy, what an embarrassing job! Otway an embarrassing a obj.
I don't think that's Pig Latin.
No, that was kind of racist.
Boy, what an embarrassing... I don't know British.
Oh, yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
I'm not gonna... What an embarrassing Bob, Joy. What an embarrassing boy job.
No.
Boy, what an embarrassing job.
All right, you know what? I want to go to bed. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, sure. Boy, what an embarrassing job.
Oh, dude. Good God.
Come
Too
on.
far. Oh, my God. You're the worst.
Wait, what? I thought it was good.
So this is Inukai, the animal tamer. Lan gets mad that he uses a whip, so Inukai threatens to sick his fucking lion on Lan and gets understandably fired.
Holy shit. Real life consequences?
Well, that was unexpected.
Well, I mean, he keeps the lion.
So arrives and gives Inukai his own asteroid navi, Beastman. Yeah, I said Beastman, not Savage Man. The show stopped being dubbed after Axess, so I'm calling them by their names from the games. Deal with it.
So, Inukai controls the animals via their tracking chips. Lan cross-fuses with MegaMan to fight. They win. And the bad guy narrowly evades police capture by riding off into the sunset on his lion. Oh, and Lan gets fired from the ad.
The next episode features a kid who doesn't like vegetables. The fuck does Slur care? She gives him Plant Man, who starts screwing with the school lunch factory? Is that a thing? And makes it so the factory just trashes all the greens.
Lan overhears Mameo and figures out what's going on, but isn't able to do anything until Plant Man starts capsizing ships bringing veggies in from other countries, and eventually starts causing mass food shortages.
Kid freaks out, Plant Man tricks him into using the dimensional chip, traps him in a cage made out of vines, which he eats his way out of, and Lan deletes Plant Man. Also, Miss Hikari wants her husband's giant mushroom.
The third one starts with some kind of poop man stealing stuff from a museum, but he only steals a feather. Then we get Cowboy Woody filming Ms. Mari for a while until Lan runs over to shove his hand up the guy's ass.
In front of Tracy from Pokemon.
And a 24-year-old.
Anyway, the blonde guy from earlier comes down and immediately hits on Ms. Mari. Okay, is this going to be another one of those weird Higsby Mesa episodes again?
What? They don't pull that? Like the whole season?
Well, shit. Never mind then.
These kids really do see a lot of weird-looking dudes trying to fuck their teacher, though, huh?
News starts to spread about a bunch of museum thefts, and after Mail recognizes the quill from TV, Lan soon discovers the blonde guy, Charlie, was at the scene of the crime every single time just before it happened.
After spending some time fighting Lan and MegaMan, Charlie and his NetNavi Gyro Man quickly depart to go after the real culprit, Tsuneyama and his asteroid Navi, Desert Man. Turns out he was recollecting Dr. Wily's old antiques.
Since Desert Man is now impervious to aqua attacks, MegaMan and Proto Man utilize an old Pikachu Onyx technique, but Desert Man buys Tsuneyama enough time to bail and makes his way back to his boss, the mysterious Chairman Gauss.
Wait, I thought Gauss was an old bearded guy. He sure as hell didn't have legs like that.
That he did not. In the next one, there's a girl named Yui who is really clumsy, so Slur gives her Asteroid Stone Man. Fucking why?
Oh, God, wait, stop. He's turning everything into stone. How can he do that?
Mega Man tries to fight Stone Man, but... Okay, fine, he lives. Yui tries to use the dimensional chip to stop him, but it just makes it worse, and then Lan and Mega Man delete Stone Man, and Yui falls again. Haha, hilarious.
After that, it's a racing episode? What? People are racing cars with Navi drivers, and what the fuck is this? Oh, Proto Man and Mega Man are drivers, and their cars are called Red Sun and Blue Moon because, yeah, sure, fuck it.
Male wants to be a car model, so the boys imagine her and her teacher as models, and this is making me really uncomfortable now. This episode is really dumb, and it makes Psycho, this guy, a Navi race car driver operator. He loses and gets recruited by Carmen Sandiego over here. Okay, if we're starting to sound exasperated, it's because this is the, fifth episode in a row that is the exact same. It's exhausting.
You're probably wondering where all that plot went. Well, we're finally about to get a little bit of it. Until, the 6th carbon copy episode. But then the plot starts to get moving.
So we open on a guy running and falling.
No, we did the Yui episode already.
That was time now!
Wait, hang on, what's that behind him?
That was time now!
Wait, hang on, what's that behind him? Spooky. Anyway, outside of Silent Hill, Mr. Famous and Manuela are taking on a bunch of giant viruses with a car that can use battle chips.
Oh, it's a training exercise. They're messing around with the dimensional area, testing out Dr. Hikari's prototype for the battle chip gate.
Scilab is invited to travel to Netopia, where an asteroid crashed 2 months earlier. It left behind an enormous 3-mile crater and is emitting the same radio signal detected during Duo's attack.
In fact, the impact was on the same day as the attack, too. Shortly after this revelation, Mega Man and Proto Man begin feeling woozy, noting that their internal clocks appear to be off by 2 seconds.
Not only that, but soon after arriving, both Lan and Chad start seeing into the past, just like Burgess Meredith over here, who ends up found near the last team's abandoned clock-covered cars.
So I guess handing out BJs gave him the willies because he starts freaking out when he's asked what's going on.
Mega Man and Proto Man are sent ahead in an intact car's CPU to investigate and notice a number of time distortions near the center of the crater, eventually triggering a wave of viruses that haven't been seen in 10 years.
While everyone in the real world is struggling to evade giant versions of the old bugs, Mega Man and Proto Man struggle to fend off the viruses on the net until a new Navi suddenly appears. And so we end in some metropolis at night, where an old man in a camo jacket and holding a black pet declares to Duo that his fight has just begun, and dies. Shortly after, as Lan and Chad begin their trip home, they discover that a member of the Netopian army has died, and the sigil on the tombstone matches that of Colonel. Oh, and Chad is given the crest of Duo. Enjoy the nightmares!
And now back to the B-plot. See, Gauss Magnus is on trial for his crimes in the previous season.
Holy shit. Real-life consequences.
And he's sentenced to 931 years, with MegaMan being locked in his PET and stored in a vault.
On the day of the verdict, his daughter Tesla takes over all frequencies to openly declare that she is following in her father's footsteps and building Neo World 3, and wants what is most precious to her returned at once.
We also get to see that not only have Tsuneyama and Psycho joined, but Inukai arrives on the scene to team up as well. So every single person who got an asteroid Navi and didn't try to stop it later is now a terrorist. Nice.
So the new team heads off to the prison to break out Pops, and wow, he is not doing so good. By letting Beastman distract Mega Man, Desert Man is able to attack from the front and capture Gauss, while Flashman hits up the vault to retrieve Magnet Man.
Mega Man eventually starts to push them back, but when it's time to go, Inukai grabs Tsuneyama and leaves Gauss behind. Turns out Magnet Man was the real target. Oh, but then Tesla grabs him anyway. They need a maid.
And now for our 6th carbon copy episode. Ready? It's Vidi Narcy from Battle Network 4. Now, Narcy Hyde? Narcy Hide? Wouldn't that just be like Hideo Narcy? Like Hidi? Whatever. Slur presents Narcy with Video Man, who starts stroking their ego so hard we're going to have to age-gate this video. Man.
Narcy's personality is pink. That pretty much sums them up completely. They get fired for making videos entirely graded in pink, then decide to make another video and grade it all in pink, and makes a pink ball that turns everything pink.
Video Man can apparently make giant things move, including fucking Creepy Kong over here. Eventually, Lan, Charlie, and Mail confront Video Man and his wave of viruses, but they won't attack anything pink. So Roll gets to chill. MegaMan gets Gyro Soul, and Tsuneyama shows up to grab Narcy, thus completing the 4-goon requirement for a true World 3.
Which leads into the next episode, where Evil Dex transforms shit tons of vehicles in the city into animals. Some smart thinking leads Lan and Mr. Famous to pit natural enemies against each other to distract the vehicles, but they end up ambushed by the entirety of Neo World 3.
But just when all seems lost, Colonel arrives to save the day again. Mega Man beats Beast Man, and Inukai escapes with his lion, because that's what kind of show this is.
So the pieces are set. Neo World 3 is fully stocked, and Lan and Chode are on the hunt for clues on how to beat Duo, but they're gonna need some help.
Well, I got some good news and bad news.
Good news?
Well, they do get help. Lots of it.
Bad news?
Takes like the first half of the season to get there, and it doesn't really move much of the rest of the plot forward.
Okay, first we get Knuckles over here watching Lan eat curry. He likes curry too. They both kickstart a horrible internet fetish, and also his name is Dingo and he operates Tomahawk Man. Narcy wants to cover the city in curry. What the fuck am I watching?
Then we see the anime version of Catwoman, and this girl from China starts stalking Lan. Okay. This is Jasmine, the granddaughter of the legendary herbalist Cardamom, and her Navi is Medi, which she inherited from a friend who died of a mysterious disease. She's on the lookout for the blue dandelion, which this Dick Bengal has. Mega Man fights too hard. And Medi heals him. Yay.
Then we get another Bubbleman and Friends episode. This time, Bubbleman is searching for some kind of program in the Undernet, so he enlists Iceman and Aquaman to join him. They're still friends. After Neo World 3 takes over Dr. Regal's old dark chip factory, Magnaman chases them, and Megaman and Roll chase him. In the end, Bubbleman thinks he finds the treasure that turns out to be random bug frag data. They beat Magnaman, and Megaman offers Bubbleman the chance to join their team, which he declines.
Protoman and Thunderman join a screaming contest in disguise, then track down Ivan Chilsky and Fridgeman, who are using ice beams to compress data by 500,000 times, wreaking havoc on the net.
Then the Wario brothers torment Officer Manuela by using Gravity Man to make her heavy, because women and their weight, am I right?
Rika arrives back in Electopia and helps deal with a rash of dark chip attacks, because apparently some people think Recov 63 and Recov 315 are real chips. They discover that a factory nearby has been hacked with dark chips to mass-produce Robodogs with dark chips in them, and Rika cross-fuses with Searchman to fight Beastman and Flashman.
Following that, Rika's old friend Iria uses Yamato Man to steal all the weapons he can, and Lan and Rika cross-use to take him on, barely winning and earning Rika the crest of Duo.
Hey, this episode starts with, what was this guy called again?
Multanic Man.
Multanic Man.
Multanic Man. Multanic Man.
Fuck it, Napalm Man. Some asshole operates him but drops his pet, which gets run over by a car. Elsewhere, Firefox. Okay, no, there's no way. That's not his real name. That's ridiculous.
It is in the games.
Well, then it is a really, really dumb name.
Yes, it is. That's true.
I mean, you could go with his Japanese name instead.
All right, well, what's that?
Firefox.
It's Nenji.
Nenji?
Nenji.
Okay. Yeah, Nenji. Well, we can. Yeah, Nenji's fine. We'll go with Nenji.
Nenji.
Firefox.
I think it's Nenji.
Yeah, it is.
Nenji makes fireworks, but lost his old Navi, who he called Nenjiro, after he sacrificed himself to stop a malfunctioning fireworks cannon from exploding. Napalm Man escapes through the net and barely makes it to Nenji's empty pet, where he passes out. Nenji gets him all healed up and immediately renames him Nenjiro, much to Napalm Man's dismay. The old operator comes back and uses a dark chip to turn Napalm Man evil, but Nenji steps in the way and reclaims him. Napalm Man, like Nenjiro before him, sacrifices himself to stop a hacked fireworks cannon, but doesn't die. For his heroism, the Net Savers allow Nenji to keep Asteroid Napalm Man, so long as he doesn't commit any crimes.
Then Charlie hits on Tesla for an entire episode. Literally, a full episode, until he realizes who she is and does help foil her plan, but like, guys, why?
After all that noise, we finally get to an episode that actually feels like it matters. We start with Misaki waking up from the coma he's been in since he and Yuri fell off a bridge at the end of last season. Incidentally, Yuri runs into Wily, and it's revealed that 11 years ago, after being experimented on every day for 4 years, she escaped from Wily's lab with the help of Dr. Regal. She tells Wily she can see the comet, and he gives her a synchro chip on her way out.
Meanwhile, Colonel is squaring off against Slur, but she is pretty handily beating him. MegaMan tries to assist, but he doesn't really seem to be doing much. In fact, Colonel has to step in to take the worst hit, and ends up under Net Saver medical supervision for a while. It seems he's a Netopia Navi, and he quickly logs out to get back to where he belongs.
Bomb Man attacks Misaki's hospital, and wouldn't you know it, Yuri steps in to save him, cross-fused with Needle Man once again. Oh, and then we're back to filler again. Dex pretends to dedicate his life to curry to foil a Neo World 3 plot to make artificial diamonds, except then he actually is a curry chef now. And then Lan and Dex visit Jasmine and Cardamom to find a cure for a panda who's losing its black coloration.
We call that the Michael Jackson.
Then Narcy accidentally wins a children's Navi costume design contest because you just can't have enough contests, right?
Best part of this episode is Yai getting frustrated that she doesn't get to design the costumes from scratch, but has to use designs submitted by children. Metaphor?
Then we get an interesting one. For a solid month, Tesla's been making her goons celebrate her upcoming birthday, but her father got her the gift she really wanted, a synchro chip.
So for the week leading up to the big day, Neo World 3 commits some petty crime, then vanishes almost immediately. Lan thinks they're screwing with him, but it turns out that Tesla is testing out her new cross-fusion with Magnet Man.
And so, for her birthday, Tesla challenges an exhausted Lan to a fight. Naturally, she's not going to fight fair, so the other members show up and help kick the shit out of him. Yuri ends up revealing to her sister that she is alive, and they chat briefly, but she ultimately decides to help Lan beat down Tesla, even commenting that she knows Tesla can see the comet. And then Gauss does his Bugs Bunny routine, and then they flee. Woo!
So hey, did you guys know Sharo and Creamland are in the middle of a land war? Yeah, that's what this story needs. Welcome to Siberia, Siaklia. It's about to become the third country with a dimensional area generator after Electopia and Netopia, so long as the two countries can get along and let it oops, it's dead.
Yeah, so a general from Creamland was not only given Asteroid Airman, but he decided to do some R&D and actually built a clone army of them, all stored in this uncomfortably close shot of a fallopian tube. So Rika takes on the big Airman, while Nightman takes on the little ones. The general dies, and Princess Pride gets the crest of duo, so hooray! Oh, and they got rid of the good outro and swapped it for last season's closing theme for some reason. No, bad.
I am vetoing this episode because of Horrorbot 9000. It's worse than the diva from the first season.
That's Root-san, apparently.
Oh, okay, I got it. Root-san. Yeah. That's worse than the average Rick joke.
It's an episode about a car museum for bad ideas. Bright Man steals cars, and it's a bad episode, unimportant. Moving on.
Lan is wiped out from all the battles, and Dex wants to help, so he demands Dr. Hikari give him cross-fusion. The good doctor shows him around the lab, then the gift shop, then the door. Dex demands to see him again, but he's in a meeting. He pulls the same thing with Mr. Famous, who considers that Shademan used Rush to materialize in the real world, and is able to successfully turn Rush into a synchro chip. It doesn't work on Dex.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
It does, however, work on Mail. Finally, she is relevant to the story again.
Chode gets the focus in the next episode where he and Raoul try to hunt down a thief named Rat who's utilizing a 20-year-old technique to evade detection when hacking systems. After stopping for some hookers, they hit up Rat's pad and find it empty.
Not ready to throw in the towel, they visit a hacker named Jackass in prison who developed the technique. He used a special access method that let him rob banks and steal data until he got caught by Colonel trying to get his hands on Netopian military info.
Using the info Jackass gives them, Chowd and Raoul will eventually catch up to Rat and nab him, but not before the program that unlocks everything is activated, and literally everything across the globe unlocks.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, episode 30, aired on April 30th, where Tesla goes berserk for the entire episode because her wanted poster lists her as 30 years old.
Seriously, she's about to go all Oren Ishii on everyone on the planet.
As your leader, I encourage you from time to time, and always in a respectful manner, to question my logic. If you're unconvinced a particular plan of action I've decided is the wisest, tell me so. But allow me to convince you, and I promise you right here and now, no subject will ever be taboo. Except, of course, the subject that was just under discussion. The price you pay for bringing a is, I collect your fucking head.
She ends up stealing a Telro boxer to flat out murder Lan and Nenji for insulting her. It's a weird Looney Tune.
Everyone remember the end of Axess? There was a rather frighteningly well-animated brawl between Shademan and Laserman, with Laserman tearing Shademan's arms off and deleting him in cold blood.
Sure do. Not because I remembered on my own exactly, but there's suddenly 100 glowing orbs playing that scene out like a DVR using what's now being named Past Vision.
Dude, spoilers! Anyway, what happens when Laserman goes to delete Got it.
So Chode arrives on the scene and fills everyone in on the NetNavi kernel and his operator, Beryl.
Wait, hang on. The Nebula Gray incident? What? Did we skip something? I have no idea. What is happening right now?
Yeah, who's this Beryl guy? I don't recognize him at all.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay, so, sorry, guys. We did sort of skip something. It's not, like, exactly an episode, per se.
All right, well, what did we skip?
No. We don't have to do another. We already did an intro. We don't have to do like a second one of those. It's fine.
Program of Light and Darkness?
It's a movie. Okay, that's not entirely fair. I mean, it's not exactly a movie. It's more like a double-length episode with a bit of heavier than normal plot. Actually, a lot heavier. The stakes are pretty enormous. Let's see if I can give you the brief rundown. Here we go. We open on Base drifting through the void until he comes upon a huge orb of glowing purple energy that spits out this humongous Ganon-looking bastard. You know, I wonder if this is the treasure Shademan was looking for. Back in the real world, crazy purple lasers start etching weird symbols into the earth by dematerializing anything in their path. Dr. Ikari recognizes it as being related to Spectrum, a program built by Dr. Wily decades ago. After literally the only shot in the movie that's part of the alleged crossover with Duel Masters, Dr. Ikari tells Lan to go to Trident Tower, the headquarters for a company called Trinity Brain, and destroy his own father's counterpart program. He barges in and jacks MegaMan into their system, but on his way to the core, he gets suplexed by Base, who seems to have picked up a few tricks. Nothing personnel, kid. MegaMan shatters Tadashi Hikari's program, but the orb full of Ganon shows up, blows up the local cyber world, and all of Lan's friends get fucking lasered. Dr. Ikari tells Lan that his father and Dr. Wily work together on Spectrum as a way to let people enter the cyber world. It required a program from both, but Tadashi Hikari intentionally left a piece of his out to ensure that the monster from earlier, named Nebula Gray, couldn't escape. A bunch of dimensional area converters appear, and Dr. Regal arrives. Looking a lot less dead than before there, buddy. Apparently, after he was defeated in Axess, his cross-fused form turned completely into Data, but he scoured the net and found the Wily program, used it to travel 20 years into the past, and fused into it to become Nebula Gray. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, he steals Dr. Ikari, and Lan is brought to a bridge where he is soon joined by Chod and Raika in his best heavy metal cosplay. It's a good thing the screen is ultra-wide. It's almost like it was built for exactly 3 people to talk into. How weird is that? Maybe we should invest in one of those. Anyway, they arrive at the dilapidated Netopian army base, get a tank boat blown up as a distraction, and find themselves in a room full to the brim with scuttle-shaped defense mechs. Chad and Rika take on the mechs while Lan runs ahead, only to encounter a space-time distortion and get his chest piece damaged enough to knock him out of cross-fusion. Luckily, a young man saves him in the nick of time, and it turns out to be Colonel's net op, Beryl. He ran in from the past through a distortion 20 years ago. Lucky Lan. All the while, Dr. Ikari is going through a carousel of horrors that is like way not appropriate for a kid's show. This looks like shit you'd find in Akira, not Mega Man. Holy shit. See, it turns out Tadashi Hikari hid the remaining code for his program on his own son's retina, so Dr. Hikari continues to endure the syringe-grinding Iron Maiden as Lan and Beryl try to unlock it. As they approach the core, Mega Man and Colonel are confronted by a bunch of splooge monsters, and as Dr. Regal gloats that he has won, Base re-enters the scene, furious that he was used as a pawn for Dr. Regal's return. He ultimately breaks a hole in the core, and he and Mega Man jump in, but Dr. Regal is prepared for their arrival and starts to dismantle their data using the strength of Nebula Gray. Oh, this seems a lot more like Akira now. When things look truly desperate, Mega Man offers his ultimate program to Base to save them both, which he gleefully accepts. The result is Base cross Mega Man, who handily explodes the core system, which then comes everywhere as it falls apart. They smack down Nebula Gray, and a beaten Dr. Regal starts making semen angels, while Mega Man falls down face first. Ew, gross. Dr. Regal tries to destroy them all with some kind of black hole attack, so Mega Man separates himself from Base, but Base forces him to log out and drifts into the center, cackling away. Beryl helps the others escape by shoving his PET under a door, cracking its face, and stays behind to go back to his own time. Our heroes leave the island by boat, and the day is saved. We good?
We good.
All right, where were we? Oh, yes. It turns out that Beryl was a soldier in the Netopian army decades ago, and his NetNavi kernel was specifically designed for combat.
Unfortunately for Lan, Chowd informs him that the funeral they drove past earlier in the season was in fact Beryl's, having died when Duo's comet fell.
Something's not right, though. Beryl's got to be, what, in his 30s maybe in the movie? But only 20 years later and he looks ancient. What happened?
That's a good question. I wonder what... Oh, is Shademan supposed to be here right now?
Oh, well, that doesn't look good. Apparently, the temporal distortions around the space-time tower ripped Shademan away the very moment he would have been defeated, hurling him 6 months into the future.
He definitely doesn't look so good. Armless, but definitely not harmless, Shademan breaks free of the barrier meant to keep viruses in and starts wrecking the shit out of the city.
Shademan still wants to kill Dr. Regal, but refuses to listen when Lan and Chowd tell him he's long gone, and they brawl in the streets.
Yuri arrives to tell the two that on the day of Duo's virus attack, a meteor also fell to Earth. Upon forcing Shademan to log out, she too is given the crest of Duo.
Not ready to give up yet, Shademan returns to Nebula's old headquarters and bathes in a dark aura tank, imbuing him with so much strength that he is able to fend off both Beastman and Flashman and steal their fucking arms to wear as his own.
Back at the space-time tower, Dr. Hikari is preparing to send Mega Man and Proto Man to the past to look for Beryl and Colonel. But at the last second, Shademan shows up, kicks the ever-loving shit out of them, fucking bites Mega Man on the neck, then dives into the past tunnel with Bubble Man in tow.
Okay, that's twice now. Can Mega Man and Proto Man do anything interesting without another villain showing up to get in the way and do it first?
Shademan is such a massive force that the past tunnel ends up damaged from his passage, but Mega Man's body falls in while it's stable enough to send him into the past.
But the damage is already done. Immediately after Shademan arrives in the past, the very fabric of time shifts around them, and Bubble Man makes a public broadcast declaring the final victory of Shademan over the human race after 20 years of war. 90% of the world's population is now Darkloids, and the only areas still unconquered are Netopia and the Arctic.
Mega Man does make it back to 20 years ago, washing up on an island in the ocean and unable to recognize the area around him. In a hub area, he is arrested after acting suspicious near the bank that Jackass later robs, but is saved by Beryl after he and Colonel prevent Jackass from stealing Netopian military data.
When Mega Man and Colonel finally confront Shademan, it's revealed that the bite left on Mega Man's neck has infected him with the Dark Aura, causing him to lose control and start violently attacking Colonel. But just as Mega Man is about to land the killing blow, a Dark Aura vaccine is sent from the future, and Mega Man narrowly misses Colonel, fatally wounding Shademan instead.
But as he begins to disintegrate, Shademan reveals that he installed his Darkloid vector into a cyber missile with the plan of exploding it over the whole cyber world and creating an army of Darkloids ready to take over it and the real world. Mega Man hops on the missile, then throws himself off it just in time to blow it to smithereens, sending him careening into an ocean of virus sludge from which there was no return.
As he's about to fade away altogether, he's brought back through the past tunnel where a purple ball sucks the juice out of his neck holes, and a sneering dark Mega Man looks back at him. Spooky. As we close out the episode, it's revealed that not only does Beryl bear the crest of Duo, but his future self also sent back a modern pet for himself, all while revealing nothing. Whew. Okay, that was pretty dense.
Yeah, the play-by-play seemed pretty involved, but it didn't seem like it had anything to do with Duo, like, at all.
Well, I mean, it does, just not yet. In the meantime, though, thankfully, the next few episodes are, well, honestly, they're pretty much entirely skippable, but here's the rundown. Episode 33, Dingo tries to steal a totem back for his village, except it was already going to be returned literally that very week anyway. Instead, Narcy steals it to make smoked meats. That's not a joke, that's the real plot. Dingo gets the crest of Duo.
Episode 34. Inukai is mind-controlling dolphins to sell dark ships to smugglers. Jasmine befriends one of them who eventually beats up Inukai's lion. Jasmine gets the crest of Duo.
Episode 35. It's a beauty contest. A fucking beauty contest. And the entire female cast enters and tries to bribe Lan to vote for them. And also Gauss. The only good thing about this episode is Shuko's grumbling stomach legitimately sounds like he... Oh god. The only good thing about this episode is Shuko's grumbling stomach legitimately sounds like she shit herself in front of Lan. Charlie gets the crest of Duo, and so does... Tesla?
Well, that can't be right. She's objectively a villain. Everyone else has been on Lan's side, or at least not, you know, obviously a bad guy.
Well, this is sort of the first hint as to what might be coming around the bend, and it all starts with the next episode, Another Mega Man. We start with Mega Man having a bad dream about straight up murdering 4 of his friends, except the following morning it turns out those 4 Navis were indeed attacked. After Lan makes the clearly distraught Mega Man endure a totally hilarious Band-Aid prank. Mr. Famous scans him, but finds nothing wrong and sends him back home. Along the way, though, he finds himself being slammed by some kind of dark tornado.
Upon his return to Lan's pet, he starts acting strange, convincing Lan to jack him into the streetlights and also a tractor, resulting in shitloads of horrible car crashes and also robbing a bank. Mega Man gets arrested, but before his trial, asks Lan to just delete him instead.
Lan soon sees through the ruse, and it's all thanks to Mega Man's ass. The phony reveals himself to be Dark Mega Man, who is planning to switch back right as Lan agreed to do the deed, resulting in Lan deleting the real Mega Man instead. In addition, Dark Mega Man has his own posse of 4 Darkloids to do his bidding, and he breaks out of prison, nearly killing Lan in the process.
Yuri steps in at the last second to save him, and Dusk reveals that Mega Man is underground, sending Shadow Man along with Needle Man to help rescue him. Looks like his deletion by Searchman just didn't take, and he was revived by Dr. Wily and given to Dusk as his net navi. Alright boys, do your best Dragon Ball Z impression.
Oh, weird. It's almost like 2 mirror images of each other would be exactly the same strength, too. Wow, that's so... didn't see that.
In the next episode, Dr. Hikari reveals to Lan that there are meant to be 13 crests in total, with a few of them still yet to be discovered. They're useful to him because they dramatically increase the user's synchro rate, making cross-fusion easier.
Meanwhile, Yai wants everyone to come help with fireworks for her winning a contest to determine who has the most beautiful forehead. Blizzard Man gets deleted and Nenji gets the crest of Duo. Next!
After that, we have a love triangle episode. Mail is jealous of how much time Lan is spending with Jasmine, and the same goes for their navies. Starman tries to hit the city with a meteor, loses, and Mail gets the crest of Duo. Next.
After that, a solar eclipse means the solar-powered dimensional area satellites are now inoperable. So Beastman uses that time to try to destroy Scilab's generators altogether, successfully doing so, and then being deleted.
In response, Dr. Wily, of all people, comes to the rescue, recruiting the Old World 3 to fight Neo World 3, hijacking the dimensional area cars from the car museum.
Roots on why?
Allowing Lan to cross-fuse and delete Video Man once and for all. What's more, Inukai and Narcy actually get arrested at the end of it all.
Holy shit! Real-life consequences!
Tesla, notably furious, then attacks the orbital elevator. Also, by the way, there's an orbital elevator, I guess it's been there for a while, in order to use non-functional satellites to attack major cities around the globe. Despite Mail being reluctant to rescue Lan from a bathroom...
やよだってここ男子トイレじゃないここから出られないとテスラたちの野望を食い止められないんだだけど私女の子だしいくらなんでも男子トイレは恥ずかしがってる場合じゃないってでも
They drop Desert Man into a giant rush hole and slice Flashman to pieces, deleting both of them for good.
Tsuneyama and Psycho are also arrested, but Tesla is suddenly whisked away by Dark Megaman thanks to a stray dimensional area converter. He takes over the Neo World 3 base for himself and sends additional converters to wipe the memories of Neo World 3 in their jail cells.
Alright, that was a little unexpected. So, Dark Megaman and the Darkloids are now taking over Neo World 3 as the new secondary antagonists for the rest of the season?
Yes. And depending on how you look at it, Dark Megaman is sort of taking on the mantle from Shade Man. So in a lot of ways, this is Axess telling Stream to back off and let its number 2 bad guys get one last go.
So finally, somebody up top realizes the shit's about to hit the fan, so the Netsavers start rounding up everyone with a crest of Duo. Since it helps with cross-fusion, it's time for them to cross-fuse. Dex can't, so he's gonna beat this cat to death.
Cosmo Man is attacking Net City in the meantime, so Lan and Mail spring into action, with Dex and Yahoot supporting them. While they're eventually able to knock out Cosmo Man, he lands a serious blow to Lan's chest piece, destroying his synchro chip.
Lan heads off to Sharo to get a new one made, but the Darkloids start taking over massive excavation equipment, making things look pretty bad until Charlie, now cross-fused with Gyro Man, swoops in to save the day.
Dark Mega Man pulls off an interesting gambit, though, and wraps the excavator in a smaller dimensional area, allowing it to burst through the larger one, advancing on Charo's capital city.
Even worse, as Lan is about to retrieve his new synchro chip, Dusk knocks out Mr. Famous and steals it for himself, challenging Lan and Mega Man to a duel for it. Turns out he had a contract with Tesla to eliminate Mega Man before she was captured.
Things look pretty bad until Yuri and Needleman arrive to assist, and the 6 new cross-fusion members all work to save the capital, with Searchman eventually knocking out the core program for the excavator. Duo offers a warning to those bearing his crest. The time of reckoning is nigh.
And then there's a beach episode, where they investigate a fake haunted house, so they end up in a hot spring. This is already a pretty horrible, pointless filler on filler on filler trope episode, but I gotta be honest, it's really, really uncomfortable just how egregious these gratuitous, like, slow pan up the ladies in the swimsuits bow shots are. It's bad.
I'm fine with this.
I think we're on a list now.
And now, so are you.
At least the plot comes back nice and quick, and we start the ride through to the finale. There's a strange pit that contains a dimensional area, so the cross-fusion members go to investigate. Deeper into the hole, they get through an enormous stone door and find horrible CG booger robots.
They run really fast, and Mail discovers they back away when shown the crest of Duo. She also finds a thing that, when activated, gives them a past vision of Duo's own homeworld.
It turns out that the people of his world, who incidentally look quite a bit like Slur, were also attempting cross-fusion, but were destroyed before they could achieve it. Some survivors managed to flee to prehistoric Earth, presumably forming the very ruins the team was standing in now.
Worth noting here that we see for the first time that Duo's comet isn't a comet at all, but some kind of ship. They don't have much time to gawk as the ruins come crumbling down, and they escape by way of cross-fusion.
Sometime later, our heroes are approached by Gauss, who begs them to rescue Tesla from the clutches of Dark Megaman. They've both been imprisoned under him for a while, but with a little ingenuity, Gauss was able to escape and seek help.
As he leads them to the Neo World 3 headquarters, he has everyone use a palm scanner to get through, which turns out to be one big setup. See, Darkman caught Gauss on his way out, and he sold out his would-be heroes, allowing Dark Megaman to copy everyone's Crests of Duo in exchange for his daughter. He already got a few earlier on, also with scanning technology.
Unfortunately, Dark Megaman has no interest in keeping any loose threads and tries to kill Gauss, only for Megaman to defend him just in time. The assault caused the upper floors of the building to collapse, but some quick thinking with everyone's cross-fusion saved the day. Even Tesla gets saved, but tells Charlie to thank her father and uncle for helping her, then cross-fuses herself and bails. Only to turn up at Charlie's apartment that night.
She is pissed and wants Dark Megaman deleted, which is good because pretty much everybody else does too. How about that? Dark Megaman lures Yuri to the Dark Chip factory to give up her Crest of Duo in exchange for Miss Mari's safety, but she refuses.
She had Lan go and bring Miss Mari somewhere safe, then come around and join up for the battle, which starts out going great until suddenly, hey there, Dr. Regal!
Oh, hi, buddy! Dr. Regal copies Yuri's crest, declaring that he now has all 13, and 6 is splooge monsters on her and Lan. Tesla joins the fight and manages to delete Cosmo Man, the last of Dark Megaman's posse, but Dr. Regal and Dark Megaman still escape.
This seems like a good time for an old wise soul to fill us in on just what the hell is going on, and we get that in the form of Dr. Wily? So apparently, Barrel's crest was the very first one Dr. Regal got a hold of. 20 years ago, Dr. Wily was working alongside the Netopian army and recorded it during a scan of Barrel. Regal then stole that data when he left Dr. Wily's lab 9 years later. It's at this point the stakes are crystal clear. Dr. Regal wants to control Duo.
Now we're at the point where asteroid navies are just openly attacking cities around the world, and they're apparently still acting on behalf of just regular-ass people, so randos are just decimating the planet. Awesome.
And no matter how many of them are defeated, more just keep coming back endlessly. Colonel finally has a beat on so he gives chase, soon followed by Megaman, Protoman, and Searchman. Despite them putting literally everything they have into their attacks, N-Word just shrugs it all off, uses a red ring of death, and blasts the shit out of everybody.
This whole time, the asteroid navies have been absorbing the evil intent in people's hearts, converting it into energy to fuel Duo's comet. And since humanity shows no sign of stopping, it's time to end this little experiment.
Dark Megaman seems to have reservations about his lot in life, not understanding how everyone forms bonds with one another, but Dr. Regal gleefully tells him how useless everybody is, and that with 13 Crests of Duo, he will become the strongest Navi in the universe! Yay!
He turns up at the space-time tower and sends Dark Megaman on his way through the past tunnel. Naturally, our 3 heroes and Colonel give chase, and they arrive 30 years in the past. See, when the meteor that fell during Duo's attack created this crater, it was actually Duo's comet itself. But because of the temporal anomalies where it landed, it managed to fling itself decades into the past, where it lay in the desert.
Megaman tries to fight Dark Megaman, but because they share the same memories before they split, Dark Megaman is able to predict what chips Lan will use before he even uses them. A little re-strategizing though, and they get the upper hand. When the battle rips a hole in the comet's cyber world, Dark Megaman jumps through it to the core of the ship's computer, using the Crests of Duo to gain its power. Temporarily.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Opting to side with Megaman over Duo, Dark Megaman sacrifices himself to buy the others enough time to escape the comet. But even with him out of the picture, things are still looking grim.
With the comet's final countdown looming, Dr. Hikari puts out an APB to all cross-fusion members to get their asses to the space-time tower. But he's not sure if Tesla will show, nor do they know how to handle the first crest-bearer Barrel being, dead.
Lan and Chowd head to Barrel's old apartment, but find that Dr. Wily was already there, waiting for them. He tells them that just after Duo's first attack, he met with Barrel in that very spot, where he gave him a space-time server to allow Colonel to move freely back and forth between the 2 time periods.
He gives the 2 Barrel's old PT, the one he sent back to his earlier self in the first place, and they head back to the space-time tower. At the same time, Wily and Barrel arrive at their version of the tower 20 years in the past. Barrel uses Wily's Spectrum program to convert himself into data and launch himself into the present, and at long last, the 13 Crests of Duo are assembled.
As declares that the deletion of Earth has already begun, Base appears from out of goddamn nowhere, claiming to be far stronger than he was before. He has no trouble breaking out of her bindings thanks to having absorbed the entirety of Nebula Gray, and puts his fist straight through her chest, deleting her once and for all, completely, totally gone, obliviated by.
Back at the space-time tower, Regal declares that he has stopped the countdown and taken over the controls for the comet so he can...
No!
Not okay! 無駄だ。デュオの遺伝子を受け継ぎ、偉大なるテクノロジーを掌握した私はもはや神も同然。その気になれば時空間をも操ることが可能なのだ。何？
誤ったネットワークの進化は修正しなければならぬ。
デュオか。
Oh, I guess he didn't completely take over Duo after all, since he decides Regal is not meant to live. Duo yanks Regal's horrifying snake neck back through time and...
Wait a sec. Did Duo just blow up the Earth?
Yep. Yeah, but like future Earth or some shit like that. Like, it's not really gone, is it?
No. It's definitely gone. That happened. Earth is gone. Very luckily for everyone, the 13 cross-fusion members made it through the pass tunnel before the Earth was destroyed and hover in space to address Duo one last time. They are doing better than Regal right now, at least.
At first, they try to fight Duo, but there's just no chance at all. So Duo yanks the Navis from their cross-fusions and offers all of them a chance to join him on his quest to cleanse the universe. Spoiler, they say no.
Duo is just not able to comprehend why operators and Navis should care about each other at all. And when their main argument is that cross-fusion proves they can work together, he is still confused but a little intrigued.
Barrel offers to show Duo by cross-fusing with him, and amazingly, he takes him up on the offer. The Earth then returns to normal and everyone makes it back home. Even a very old Barrel makes contact with Lan, telling him about how he traveled the stars with Duo for so long that he nearly forgot about anything else. Which is better than we can say for anyone outside the Space-Time Tower who can't remember anything at all about Duo. Celebration, fireworks, the end. And so the 100-episode cross-fusion saga comes to a close at last.
And Duo's 30-year journey through time and space comes to a close at last, and the day and the planet are saved.
It was a long season. But it did manage to be a successful sequel, and they raised the stakes by a lot.
Reframing Axess as more than just a generic world conquest plot by Dr. Regal makes me kind of want to go back and watch that one again. It's clear that serious effort was put into not just continuing the previous season, but adding context and backstory and even going out of their way to use time travel to make any battle have potentially devastating consequences.
The cast got a bit unwieldy at times, but when your plot revolves around 13 unlikely friends coming together to save the planet, there's probably going to be some shoving to get everything to fit in there. The problem comes in when nearly the entire set of 13 needs individual episodes to show they can cross-fuse, and then another episode to show they gain the crest of Duo. Almost half the season gets swallowed up by this to-do list, usually in otherwise innocuous episodes.
Another thing worth looking at is how much the season feels like Power Rangers with a Mega Man paint job. I don't know if the writers were tired of making generic cyber worlds to fight in, or if they were running out of ideas for situations where the operator and Navi would have to fight in two places at once, but almost every single episode this season features cross-fusion, complete with the transformation sequence. Fucking Sailor Moon over and over.
The first half of the season felt incredibly slow. While there was at least some level of character growth, and we did see the construction of Neo World 3, it took until Program of Light and Darkness for things to feel like they were going anywhere.
Granted, once we got there, the plot kept moving along at a great pace, and most episodes factored directly into the main plot.
All in all, a pretty good season of shitty TV. And with that out of the way, we can now finally get to Mega Man Battle Network.
I have returned! And I am here to destroy you once and for all!
Come on! I was about to finally do the thing!
What are you gonna make us do now?
Actually, I haven't really come up with a plan yet. Why don't you just keep playing Mega Man Strategy for now? I really like to see you think you know how it works.
Deal.
All right.
Are we good? Finally? Okay, next time it's...
Battle Network 5!
Dude, what the